Screen visible, huh? So okay.
Visible, sir. Visible.
Okay. So what they telling now? So this now rectal cancers are all increasing in young individuals. Initially, they used to at the older age. Colon cancers are all generally 70 years, 5th and 6th decades. But these rectal cancers are all increasing in younger age groups. So what is the problem? This has got a very complex anatomy. Pelvic region, you can't. So intra-abdominal, you will get a clearance. Whatever tumor, you will get a complete mesocholic excision. You will get a definitely clearance. But in rectal cancer, it is very difficult to get a clearance because of the complex pelvic anatomy and very difficult to work in that region. So that and all the things. So it has got high recurrences there. So that only they are telling here. It is pelvic region and all very difficult to get a circumferential margin. So there are certain principles has been developed to get this and all. First, blood supply, spreading of the tumor. Lower half of the rectum is either so the upper part of the rectum. First, rectum is divided into two parts from the anal verge. 3 parts from the anal verge: upper rectum, middle rectum, lower rectum. From the anal verge, 10 to 15 centimeters is upper rectum, and 5 to 10 centimeters is middle rectum, and below that is lower rectum. Upper rectum and middle rectum, some part are intraperitoneal. So middle rectum and lower rectum and all extraperitoneal. But here, so blood supply also differs. Upper rectum and middle rectum, something and all drains via the inferior mesenteric vein and goes into the liver in way. But very lower distal rectum and all directly goes through drains in the IVC. So in that way, it will differs in their metastasis and all. That is, we have to think. So main aim of the treatment and all, you have to give complete clearance and sphincter salvage as much as possible. You have to maintain the sphincter salvage. That are the things. So in examination, this initially it was a clockwise position. They mentioned tumor which were 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock and all, but that are all very confusing. So depends upon the position will change. So better they will tell whether tumor is anterior or posterior, that and all. Based upon that only, that is very helpful for in operating also, because the TAMIs and all, they will put the patient in the prone position and supine position. So that clearance will be very good in prone position. Clearance will be very good in posterior region, and clearance won't be getting in the anterior region, and the anterior region tumors and all going for perforation in TAMIs. So better we have to tell that tumors are in anterior or posterior, left or right. That way we have to tell. So when women and all, this patient will most of the time it will go for rectovaginal septum involvement. That and all we have to. Initially they told about the clinical examination. What are the things to be documented? So based upon that, we have to do what are the things and all. So women and all, we have to all patient has to be examined pelvic rectal examination, and whenever there is a tip of the finger. When the tumor is above the tip of the finger, means this patient can be underwent go surgery from the from abdominal. When the tumor is below that finger length, we have to go from transanal approach of the malignancy repair. Okay, that is one clinical, and it is important, mandatory to find the sphincter tone. That is very important in digital rectal examination. So okay, then better first assess by proctoscopic examination. So it yields a good result because the flexible sigmoidoscopy, the difference. So there is a lot of difference between when you use flexible sigmoidoscopy or and proctosigmoidoscopy. Proctosigmoidoscopy, rigid proctosigmoidoscopy is better in delineating the length of the distance of the tumor from the anal verge. That one only is telling. So knee chest position is very important in extremely obese patient in for examining the patients and all. Okay. And then even examining MRI. MRI is the best investigation for the looking for the adjacent structures involvement and what plane it is involved, because in the pelvis it is MRI is better. They're telling that too. So what type of MRI means superficial MRI is better to assessing the tumor rather than endorectal coil type. So ultrasound and all, nothing they can given. Endo ultrasound is better delineates the T stage rather than the end stage here. That only they tell that. Endorectal ultrasound, there are 5 layers are there, starting from the hyperechoic layer, followed by the 2 hypoechoic layers in between, and that facial end tells about this mesorectal fascia. That end it is hyperechoic. Totally 5 layers are there. That's all. So there is some rectal cancer protocol for MRI is there. That only tells about that what type of MRI and all should be given. So better you put some ultrasound gel inside the rectum mixed with gadolinium. So it will very well delineates the luminal and surrounding region and mucosal lesions. Everything can be dealt with this one. So that is one important. Ultrasound gel with gadolinium can be instilled inside the thing. Anything left, you let me know. I will just tell. So a pelvic MRI will, however, permit assessment of lymph node involvement and circumferential resection, marginal status, and extrarectal disease. That is it. The last 2 lines are very important. Currently, clinically, T3 and node positive rectal cancers and those with cancers in close proximity of the sphincter, in whom sphincter sparing is decided as recommended to undergo preoperative. So, better it is maximum you have to preserve sphincter. It is very doubtful for preserving sphincter. Better you go for a preoperative neoadjuvant chemoradiation. So what are the patients and all? They're telling that the T3, any T3 patients, any node positive rectal cancer patients, and then any close proximity of the sphincter involvement, that and all, you go for a neoadjuvant chemoradiations. So next page. So any patient, this patient after chemoradiation, you have to downstage the disease and assess again the sphincter and go for a sphincter sparing surgeries. So that's T3, T4 rectal cancer patients were randomized to receive either preoperative or postoperative chemoradiations. For this one function, we have to. So which patient, whether T3 patient or T4 patient, which patient will have a better functioning sphincter sparing function? That was they did that. There was no difference in morbidity and mortality along with these patients and the recurrence also. So initially the T3, T4 patients, they looked for the sphincter sparing and any morbidity, mortality and any local recurrence, all they have did. That's all. So important, significantly more patients in the preoperative treatment group were able to undergo sphincter sparing procedures. So what else? The Heald discovered that TME, transmesorectal excision, which is total mesorectal excision, was coined by the was introduced by the Heald surgery. So what they are doing now, complete excision of mesorectum was practiced in this procedure. This involves removal of the entire mesorectum intact up to by using a sharp dissection, and it also reduces the local recurrence and also improved survival rate. Apart from this major advantage in the TME is the patients have reduced incidence of erectile dysfunction, bladder dysfunction, and this and all, reduced incidence of nerve injury in these patients. So what they're telling us, chemo radiation followed by a TME is better in producing the circumferential margin and good outcome in the rectal cancer surgeries.
T3 means what muscle?
What?
T3 is different perirectal tissue.
Okay. So there is one protocol. What they told now, first we have to any T3, T4 tumors. We are planning for a neoadjuvant chemotherapy. So after that, we are looking assessment for the any residual tumor. If there is a complete pathological response, so we are waiting and watching whether this patient will developing this and all. That is called as Haber Gamma protocol. This was added in this edition, and this was 20% of patients can be spared from doing surgery post neoadjuvant chemotherapy. That was that is telling that 20% of patients will show a complete response. So what they conducted now, one set of patients after neoadjuvant chemo radiation therapy, they go for they did malignant surgery followed by that. And some set of patients they didn't do any surgeries. By comparing both the groups, there is similar incidence and similar outcome, and similar progression-free survival was there. So up to 20% of the patients are there is a complete response after neoadjuvant chemo radiation. So we follow the wait and watch technique that is called as Haber Gamma protocol. After that, restaging is performed in this patient. In so any high risk patient, we have to okay. So what are the things we have to follow and all? But they followed this thing, but it is not a standard of care. Many centers, there are certain centers will follow the Haber Gamma protocol, but most of the centers, some of the centers, they won't follow. So the absence of the luminal disease does not imply the absence of the disease, and such patients may be followed longitudinally. So what they're telling now, after radiologically, it may be the complete radiological response is not equal to complete pathological response. That is only they are telling that. That was clearly the line was depicted in Shackelford. Complete radiological response is not equal to complete pathological response. So that even some patients and all going for a surgery, and surgery group reduced recurrences are documented. So here the absence of luminal disease does not imply the absence of the disease, and such patients may be followed longitudinally, not only with physical and endoscopic, but also with MRI. So with response to neoadjuvant therapy, patients who are undergoing resection for rectal cancer, there is a different stage systems proposed to grade the degree of tumor regressions. So there is a stage grade called a MRTRG. Based upon this, we decide based upon the MRTRG grade, we assess that how much of it tells about the fibrosis. So how much of depends upon the fibrosis, they grade 1 to 5. Based upon that, they plan for a surgery. How whether the patient will develop recurrence or not. So on that grade only they plan for surgeries. On that 1 to 3, which on common scale ranges from grade 1 to 3, the respect to have with respect to have many viable tumor cells remain, with 1 referring a complete response and 3 referring a minimal response. So this after that we have to take biopsy, and biopsy show again you have to stage the disease and then we plan for a surgery. That only they're telling. So here 1 to 3, but MRDRG is up to 5 that you see and refer with Shackelford. So local excision. What are the types of local excision? You go either snare polypectomy or endoscopic techniques. Other techniques, endoscopic mucosal resection and endoscopic submucosal dissections. These are all endoscopic techniques. And surgical local excision, surgically excision techniques and all. we go for standard transanal excision and transanal minimally invasive surgeries and transanal endoscopic microsurgeries. So this is called as a transanal TAE and TAMIS, TEM and TATMI, transanal total mesorectal excision. That is also one thing is there. So the key here is, however, whatever the excision is there, the margin, free margin should be there. That will reduce the local recurrence. That only they are telling you. So villous adenomas of the lower rectum are commonly amenable to the transanal excision or endoscopic excision. So with partial thickness or full thickness, which are with partial thickness excision, such as benign lesions, the techniques are made easier by submucosal injection of a solution to elevate. They give mostly these techniques and all they given here. What are the things can be given? They put on the submucosal injection solution and go endoscopically, put a cap and lift with the suck with the cap, and they do surgery, resection. It may be resected from the submucosal space, resected from the underlying submucosal space, resected away from the muscularis propria. That is the aim. So this cap technique is one thing. The cap technique will have a large areas of mucosa can be removed. So whenever there is a tumor involvement in the submucosal plane, up to SM1 we can do, in submucosal plane up to SM1 we can do. So what is that? What is the, we do endoscopic submucosal resection and sometimes endoscopic submucosal dissection. Okay, that's all. So surgical transanal resection next. Surgical transanal resection, first you want to assess the sphincter is whether it is salvageable or not. So what they are telling us, lesions less than 2 centimeters in diameter, well differentiated cancers with the reach of index finger, and lesions which are mobile. These are the there should be not fixed. And T1 lesions are ideal for the transanal excision, local excisions. And T2 and T3 lesions are not suitable, so high recurrence will be there. 1 centimeter of margin should be taken around the lesions. So what is this? These resections or local excisions are safe when performed for resection that are located lateral or posterior due to the presence of mesorectum. So wherever you go, wherever there is a presence of mesorectum, this can be taken very carefully. So it depends upon the location of the lesion. If the lesion is located higher 6 to 7 centimeters from the anal verge, that to anterior wall located lesions and all, if you remove, so depends upon that location, you will get such a complications. In women's and all, if you anterior wall lesions resection leads to rectovaginal fistula, and higher lesions and all, it will produce as a intraperitoneal perforation and all produces and communicates with the peritoneum. That and all will be there. So better these procedures are wherever there is a very adequate number of mesorectum is there and posteriorly located lesions, we can do local excision. So lower rectum is a better region, we can do local excision. So next, transanal endoscopic microsurgery. So transanal, with the use of this, you can even remove larger lesions, which can be safely performed thing. But the transanal endoscopic microsurgery, what is the problem? Means lesions up to 5 centimeters from the anal verge, it is very difficult to do in this TAMIS and all. But because in that you put a port in that, and that length and all, mostly very distally located lesions and all, very difficult to do in TAMIS. That is thing important. What type of port and all? In single port cells like laparoscopic port and all, we place finger that we use here. Okay. So resections for rectal cancer. So they divided the rectum into three things, the three regions: upper rectum, middle rectum, and lower rectum by this measurements. The upper portion of the middle rectum and distal rectum are extraperitoneal. So this is already we discussed that one. Depends upon the location. There is a adjacent organs, bladder, seminal vesicles, prostate, vagina, that and all present in thing, and endopelvic nerves also is there. So what is that now? Only one concept is there. From the anal verge of 5 centimeter, there is a dentate up to 2 centimeter. There is a dentate line. 2 to 3 centimeter above the dentate line, thus mucosas are very important, that mucosa senses the whether it is what type of material is present, stool or gas, that will sense about that. So we have to preserve that one. If you preserve that one, the continents can be easily preserved. That is very thing important. That only they are telling it. So it is better to save sphincter apparatus. Apart from you have to save some mucosa above the dentate line up to 2 to 3 centimeters. That will sense the type of reservoir contains, whether it is liquid content or gas content or any solid content. So depends upon that. The continents also will sense it. So if it is lost, clinically what happens? There is a syndrome called as a low anterior resection syndrome, LAR syndrome. LAR syndrome, what they do very distally placed tumors, they remove this mucosa and all. So what happens that the mucosa will be won't be there, sir. There is a sampling reflex won't be there. That is thing that is clinically important. So okay, anything doubt until now? Okay, same. So total mesorectal excision is a technique, good technique, which removes en bloc with mesorectum, and it also removes all the rectal nodes which are located. So better it is prevents the local recurrence, TME. So LAR. So there is a definition. What is the there is only one thing. So nothing is there. Same. The only one thing you have to remember, they named a term called as cotton candy plane. So what is that now? There is a space between the mesorectum and the endopelvic fascia. So there is a very avascular structure which is thin, filmy, alveolar like structures. If you go in that plane, you won't damage, and very easily it resected in this thing. So low anterior section up to, sir, definition means upper rectum up to about 10 centimeter. You can go for that is called as you do above that peritoneal reflection, that is anterior resection. Part of the peritoneum is involved, that is 10 centimeter to 5 centimeter and all low anterior resection you go. Whenever you go for low anterior resection, you end up with the coloanal anastomosis. With the rectal reservoir can be created by using a coloplasty. Okay, good. So in low anterior resection, what are the things important? One, cotton candy plane has to be, should be follow that one, and preservation of the hypogastric nerves. And anteriorly, you have to preserve, should not injure the vagina. That and all should be there. Proximally placed lesion, we know that 5 centimeter are divided. Mesorectum and margin also 5 centimeter clearance has been given. And distally placed tumor also, better we have to take all the mesorectum, and mesorectum are divided 5 centimeter below the cancer. Tumors can be given at the level of just 1 centimeter margin can be given. If it is radiated rectum, you can even give for 0.5 mm. Normally, ideal margin of the mesorectum, the distal margin is 2 centimeter. If it is planning for any, if it is sphincter salvageable, minimum 1 centimeter has to be given. But in radiated rectum, you have to give minimum 0.5 centimeter. 5 mm is also enough. Okay. So for cancers located in the distal 2/3 of the rectum, dissection should be continued more distally, dissecting the rectum away from the prostate along the denonvillar fascia. So denonvillar fascia is also included in the resection. That is anterior fascia. That is fascia is included in the resection. Or it not between the denonvillar fascia and mesorectum. That fascia is also that included in the resection. So where you apply this until what level you go? You go up to the levator muscles. Posteriorly, the rectum has to be dissected distally up to the level of levator muscles en bloc with entire mesorectum. So after a very distal portion, we have that buttock of the mesorectum is emptied. It will become narrow one region. So there you can apply a stapler. Okay, where you do for this one. So if you do everything properly, you will get a one buttock shaped specimen called as total mesorectal the specimen in total mesorectal excision. APR is also same, but we are including the anal canal. That's all. So if you do disease, this type of technique, disease-free survival is more, but how much they didn't mention here. So that local recurrence rate is below 5%. 5%. That on only significance. And where patient has got good significant sexual dysfunction and good urinary fecal incontinence, everything is there. What they're telling, laparoscopy also demonstrates a same thing. Even for stage 2, stage 3 cancers and all, laparoscopy or open surgery, there is no difference. So whenever the patient, that's all. What we have to do now? They have discussed about that. What are the things? How do anastomotic leaks and all? They discussed. How do you assess the anastomotic leak intraoperatively and all? Either put air inside and put the saline inside the pelvis and air is getting inject the air inside the cavity and look for any bubbles presenting in the pelvic cavity and all. That can be seen. And some other techniques for anastomosis intraoperatively and all, you can sometimes assess the bowel using Doppler and laser flowmetry and all you can be used, and dye can be injected. These and other things can be given in Shackelford. That is one separate topic, intraoperative assessment of the anastomotic leak. So any suspect of so what they are doing now, initially after this one, a loop diverting ileostomy is performed to prevent the anastomotic leak. What is this now? It does not avoid the anastomotic leak, but it reduces the severity of the infections. Everything and all can be reduced. That is important. After that, 8 weeks of ostomy, you assess by using gastrographin enema and you follow the reclosure of the ostomy. Next is sphincter sparing surgery at low rectal cancers. So ultra-distal portion of the rectum, this is at the level of dentate line. There is one classification. It tells about that in the partial resection, partial sphincter procedure and intersphincteric procedure and sphincter excision. That I will. That is called one Rullius classification is there. Just I will tell the name. That's all. Rullius classification for a thing. What type of procedure is done? So okay. So ultra distal, low anterior, ultra low anal means at the level of dentate line or just above it. In younger fit patients with good preoperative sphincter function, if the sphincters are not infiltrated with cancers, they do not be sacrificed. That is the thing important. Whenever that is feasible, you have to preserve the sphincter. So we already discussed what are the conditions we are going to give neoadjuvant chemotherapy and followed by sphincter salvage procedures. So they told that different types of dissections can be done and maybe different functional results based upon the structures they are excised with the thing. That only they tell. Just 1 minute. I will tell you the what is it. So there is a one Rulier's classification: type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, and all. So based upon the tumor distance from the anorectal ring, they assessed in low rectal cancers. See, Rulier's classification is mainly for low rectal cancers. That only they given in short, but I am telling what is it now. With 4 types of variety and 4 types of procedures can be performed. Anything type 1 greater than 1 centimeter from the anorectal ring, you do conventional coloanal anastomosis. That is supranal. Less than 1 centimeter of the anorectal ring, you do go for partial intersphincteric resection. And at the anorectal ring, and involving and intraanal means intersphincteric resection can be there. Whenever there is internal sphincter is alone involved, you go for internal sphincter resection. That is called as total intersphincteric resection. And both the sphincters are involved in a transanal or transanal approach, APR or the ELAPR you have to do. That's it. Okay. So I'll tell on name and all. ELAPR means, you know, hello, it is there or not there?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. Okay. I'll tell name. External levator APR was devised by Holm, HOLM, and APR, you know, that Miles procedure APR. APR normal, that is, and Lloyd. So okay, TME is by Hild, and PME is complete mesocolic excision is Hohenberger. That's all. That's all I want to tell. So okay, we go next. CME is Hohenberger. Okay. So what is that next? With the standard mucosectomy, distal mucosa is peeled off from the internal sphincter. Normally, this is ideally 1 to 2 centimeter of mucosa that already we discussed. 1 to 2 centimeter of mucosa above the dentate line should be saved because this portion of this distal mucosa is critical in rectal. It is sensing the rectal contents and also have good post-operative functional outcomes. Okay. So what can be done now? If there is tumor is involved asymmetrically, sometimes you can go for asymmetrical mucosectomy can be done. That is they mentioned. So if a cancer involves a large portion of the anal canal, an intersphincteric dissection can be done. That only we already told that. So everything I told, this intersphincter is responsible for the resting pressure, that and all. So if intersphincter and all removed, only thing is the rectal sensation won't be there. Apart from the anal incontinence will be preserved. By external sphincter is alone enough for preserving the continence, voluntary continence. So next we go for a transanal total mesorectal excision. So in this picture, they see that this strand here on a Lone Star retractor will be placed in the perianal region, and then one purse-string suture will be taken. So followed apart from around the purse-string suture, they will go dissection in the plane of Hild in that plane. That only. So recently, a new technique has been proposed. Approaching sphincter preserving procedures in order to facilitate above the sphincter and above dentate line only they put on purse-string suture and then they go above the sphincter level. So after taking purse-string suture, they go from below to above. So what is the indication for TATME? That is very important. So any obese patient with narrow pelvis, it is an indication for a TATMI because very difficult to operate from the intra-abdominal. That is the thing. Well, then nothing is needed. So after TATMI, what is this result? All patients show a decrease in resting sphincter pressure, but squeeze pressure are unchanged and functional receptors are acceptable in this patient. So initially they go from inside and after that they go from above, not entirely from this one. So most of the resections and all, they go resect from the below and then they complete from above. That is transcendental total mesorrhexia, TME. Okay. Next APR. So up to 5 centimeter from the anal verge, we go for a APR, abdominoperineal APR. So what they are telling now, when this, what is the indication? Whenever you can't able to preserve the sphincter and very distally, lowerly placed tumor, that is the indication for an APR. If you can't able to preserve the sphincter, it is better go for an APR. Sphincters are infiltrated by tumor. Complete excision of the rectum and the anus along with the sphincter apparatus, that is only performed, and permanent colostomy is there. So Miles procedure is open surgery. Miles procedure is APR, and what they're telling here, same thing only. Okay. So the IMA is divided, the descending colon is mobilized and divided above the rectosigmoid region, and the rectum is dissected according to TME principle. So nothing is there. What is that? What do you want to know? Wider perineal resections are needed, especially in irradiated pelvis. They may have a healing difficulties. You should have a flap. Most commonly, flap placed in rectal cancer and perineal regions is VRAM or rectus abdominis flap. Wherever you go, even in pylonodal sinuses and any other procedures, these procedures are important. So if you close directly in the irradiated pelvis, there will be a fibrosed area will be there after neoadjuvant chemo radiation. So better flap surgery is better in that region. That is only important. So APR carries a intrinsic risk of higher recurrence rates compared to low anterior resections. So even though APR, even though APR, where you get, there is a one waist region is there. In that region, you will get a recurrence in APR. So for this can be overcome by a extra levator anal APR. So where there is a levator ani is coming nearer to the rectum, you will get a recurrence. For that, you have to include a levator ani muscles also. Elaper is can be done. So that specimen is APR specimen is bone-like shaped. Here, elaper specimen is cylindrical manner you will get. And what is the thing? You have to remove the tip of the coccyx also. That is also important. For following this elaper procedure, you have to do reconstruction surgery. So the APR carries intrinsic risk of high recurrence rate compared to low anterior resection. This is in part explained by the fact APR is done in more aggressive cancers. That is only they have a high recurrence rate. So what is that? A high chance of perforation is most commonly in the APR. APR where you get now, there is a one picture is there. So in this region, so a conventional APR region, the line of dissection tends to cone towards the rectum. So in this region, you will have a high chance of perforation. So for this is overcome by the elaper, extra levator APR. So here you keep biological mesh and muscle flap. So what is the next? Synchronous cancers, special circumstances. Nothing is there. So synchronous cancer, when there is rectum is not involved, you go for ileorectal anastomosis, total subtotal colectomy. When the rectum is also involved, you have to go for IPA. That's all. And sorry, next is short residual colon. So short residual colon, you have to give this first. So in case of any re-resections for a recurrent and metachronous lesions, there is a very short residual colon. So what we do now, we do a rectal or anastomosis, ileorectal anastomosis. You go by transmesenteric route of the ileal. The retroileally you go and go for anastomosis. Apart from what are the lengthening procedures and all, you put a transverse radial incisions in the mesentery. So it also will lengthen the thing. It lengthens maximum 2 centimeter, 1 to 2 centimeter. And apart from what you will go for a pouches, J pouch and some other pouches and all can be done for lengthening procedures. So here short residual colon, in such cases, colon can be transposed through a retroileal and transmesenteric route. Using this patch, it is most feasible in non-obese patients. Oh, that is one. The surgeon gives 4 to 5 centimeter of additional length that may be sufficient to reach the tension-free anastomosis in this route. And apart from, and then we go for this one. What are the other techniques now? You can be you do this and all. Ileocolic pedicle can be cut, so it also increases the length. So lengthening procedures and all, cutting of the ileocolic pedicle, one thing, retroileal mesenteric route, and multiple radial incisions can be given, and pouches. So first you have to do extensive mobilization from the hepatic flexure, splenic flexure, and also even hepatic flexure. That's all. So complications and all, leaks, bleeding, twisting can be done, and low anterior resection syndrome, LARS, can be done. So leak is mostly common in the distal anastomosis only. Proximal anastomosis and ileocolic anastomosis 1 to 3%. Distal anastomosis is 20% leak. Who will have more number of leak and all? Very patient, male gender will have a very narrow pelvis. Obese patient also very narrow pelvis. And any ASA grade 3 or grade 5, grade 3 to 5 and all, you have a high chance of leak. And any poorly nutrition patient and all, that was given in Shackelford. Nutritional factors, this ASA criteria, genders, and type of tumor, that and all will produces the leak rate, increases the leak rate. So what can be tell here? This line is important. The diverting stoma will reduce, does not decrease the risk of leak, but it can reduce the severity of the leak. That is, if any patient is, it avoids the sepsis. So diagnosis can be, leak of the anastomotic leak can be determined either intraoperatively or postoperatively. Intraoperatively, how do we assess the leak? Means we put a saline inside the pelvis and air leak test can be followed. And what else can be? Dye can be injected inside the rectal cavity, and we have to see discoloration inside the pelvic cavity can be seen, and laser flowmetry can be seen. This and all, and endoscopically we also see their anastomosis, how it was, any leak present and all. Air test, balloon test, that a lot of tests are there for assessing leak. Clinically also we have to assess signs of sepsis and all, prolonged ileus, leukocytosis, any sepsis marker, CRP and calcitonin and all, assess the anastomotic leak. What is when the leak will happen? Majority of the leaks becomes apparent at the after 5th day, 5 to 10 days, but here 2nd and 7th day it was given, but 5.5 days, the mean average days 5.5 days. Sometimes it occurs in 1 month after also. So the gold standard test to detect the leak after surgery means gastrographin enema. See, that is contrast study only. What is it now? Leaks it has grading. They given grading in Shackelford leaks, grade 1, 2, 3, 4 and all. So you see, you can refer from that. But what they're telling here, any minimal leak, subclinical leak, you can go for close observation and broad spectrum antibiotics. Okay. Any small abscess, perianastomotic abscess is present, you go for percutaneous drainage. And if less than 1/3 of circumference, any leak, anastomotic dehiscence was there, you do diversion, this and all. And more disruption was there, you do end colostomy. That only telling. So you either do laparoscopically, you give lavage for reducing the septic complications, or open surgery, everything, whatever, it's okay. So here only they're telling if the leak is larger or anastomosis is disrupted, it has to be dismantled with the creation of terminal stoma. How they divide now? Less than 1/3 of the circumference and greater than 1/3 of the circumference and complete disruption. That only they told that. So intraoperative endoscopics also assess helpful in assess the leakage and all. Okay. So okay, necrosis of the transport here only they're telling. So what they do now, any low grade fever with foul smelling material in the perianastomotic drains. So we have to suspect of necrosis of the thing. It either present with the anastomotic leak or dehiscence, but it is more aggressive. Diagnosis made by abdominal exploration or intraoperative endoscopy for looking for this necrosis. Bleeding. Bleeding is bleeding most commonly in the first bowel movement. The patient will have this one. Up to 4% of patient may need blood transfusion for the major bleeding. This mostly happens in the early post-operative period and mostly caused by small arterioles at the staple level. So staple level is the thing. Treatment you do put endoscopically, you see, and place clips and injections, epinephrine injection, electrocoagulation, something can be given. Now, locally, epinephrine injections and all, it will help. And major leak and all, major bleeding and all, you go for if it is everything is fails, you go for an angiographic treatment, embolization and all. So twisting, what happens now? Twisting is more common in the hybrid procedures. What is hybrid procedures means? They do everything laparoscopically, but they do take the bowel outside and they put anastomosis. Extracorporeal ileocolic anastomosis and all, high chance of twisting procedures. So for that, we have to place approximate that exactly equal, and it should be avoided. So what is the manifestation of twisting means? Edema will be there, followed by ischemia, gangrene and all will happen. So next is stricture. Stricture is more common with the circular staplers rather than a hands-on anastomosis. Okay, so strictures and all most common in the circular stapler. The 225 mm circular stapler and all, it is more common. And if any anastomotic leaks are present, any ischemia was there and radiation was there, that and all high chances for the stricture. So what are the things can be done now? Avoid tension-free, do tension-free anastomosis, and for stricture you have to do balloon dilatation and placement of stents, endoluminal stents. If it is more stricture, you have to go for redo anastomosis. So next, LAR syndrome. LAR syndrome, in 80% of patients undergoing lower anterior resection, you will get a LAR syndrome. So what are the things now? Mostly commonly presents with the frequency, multiple fragmented bowel movements and all present, incomplete sensation and all, incomplete emptying and incontinence, this and all. We already discussed this. Why this LAR syndrome happens now? Due to injury of the internal sphincter, one thing, and loss of sensitivity in the anorectal mucosa, that is thing, and loss or impairment of the RARS reflex, rectoanal inhibitory reflex. This otherwise is called a sampling reflex. RARS reflex is called and when the reduction of the capacity or reservoir is reduced, that and all thing. So for that, you have to improve the reservoir and avoid tension-free anastomosis should be there. How do we improve the reservoir? Either with 6 centimeter colonic J pouch or transverse coloplasty. So they're telling that coloplasty is in obese patient, it is very difficult to do a J pouch because narrow J pouch needs somewhat wide pelvis. In that region, you can directly go for a coloplasty. What transverse coloplasty means? You put a longitudinal incision in the colon for 10 centimeter and put a transverse sutures. Where do that now? From 5 centimeter from the distal end of the transverse colon, you have to put a 10 centimeter longitudinal incision and you close transversely. That is transverse coloplasty. It is best for obese patient and all. Otherwise, if it is good pelvis is there, you go for a J pouch. And apart from this, high frequency can be reduced by using loperamide drugs and all, and biofeedback techniques and trans anal irrigation and all can be given. So it will helps in sensing this and all. So whenever there is a stoma is there, even all measures are failure, we have to keep stoma. Post-operative treatment and follow-up. Every patient has to follow up until 5 years. That is all telling. So first we look for follow-up. So up to 5 years we have to follow, and every 3 to 6 months we have to look for CEA values and all. And then, so what is important now? Whether the patient has been electively done surgery. So full colon is evaluated. So colonoscopy should be done at after 1 year of surgery. If it is not previously it was not evaluated fully, we have to do at 3 to 6 months colonoscopy should be done. And then if anything is there in colonoscopy means we have to give adjuvant therapy and all, and we have to follow every year. That's one. So up to 5 years we have to follow. Out of that, majority of recurrences are happening in the initial first 2 years. So we go for a survival rate. Distant metastasis here is only 5% only, 5 year survival. So stage 1 has got good survival. Generally colorectal this is 90%, stage 2 75%, and stage 3 is means positive notes. So only thing we didn't discuss about the T1, T2, T3 and all. Wait, actually, just a minute. T1, so stage we will know. T1, T2 we want to discuss. So T1 is anything submucosa until submucosa involved T1, and T2 is muscularis propria, and T3 is pericolic tissues, but does not involve the this one involving adjacent structures. T4 is involving adjacent structure. If I am right, if I am wrong, let me know. Hello? I told simply, I think. Hello? Is there?
Sir, okay தான் அது எனக்கு இந்த
Okay.
சப்மியூகோசல் ரிசெக்ஷன் பண்றாங்க அதுல பார்த்தோம் மஸ்குலர் லேயர் இன்வால்வ் ஆனா சப்மியூகோசல் பிளேன்ல ரிசெக்ட் பண்ணணும். அவன் அங்க மீன் பண்ற மஸ்குலர் லேயர் வந்து மியூகோசால இருக்க மஸ்குலர் லேயரா மஸ்குலரிஸ் மியூகோசா மீன் பண்றானா?
சப்மியூகோசல் ரிசெக்ஷன் வந்து மஸ்குலரிஸ் இதுதான் above from muscularis propria ல இருந்து எடுக்கணும்.
அதான் அவன் அங்க சொல்ற சப்மியூகோசா பிளேன்ல போகணும்னு சொல்றான்ல, அதுல வந்து அவன் மசில் லேயர் இன்வால்வ் ஆனான்னு சொல்றான். அந்த மசில் லேயர் வந்து மியூகோசாவோட மசில் லேயர் தானே, அதாவது மஸ்குலரிஸ் மியூகோசா
தான் நினைக்கிறேன்.
ஆமா ஆமா, ஏன்னா இதுல வர மஸ்குலர் லேயர் வந்து மியூகோசா கீழ எல்ல போகுது.
ஆமா ஆமா,
ஓகே ஓகே, கரெக்டா நீங்க இந்த T1 T2 T3 T4.
ஓகே, அதான் ஸ்டேஜ் 1 T1 ஸ்டேஜ் 1, T1 T2 ஸ்டேஜ் 1, T3 T4 ஸ்டேஜ் 2, அப்புறம் நோட்ஸ் பாசிட்டிவ்னா ஸ்டேஜ் 3, மெட்டாஸ்டசிஸ் பாசிட்டிவ்னா ஸ்டேஜ் 4,
ஸ்டேஜ் 3, டிஸ்டன்ட் மெட்டாஸ்டசிஸ்னா ஸ்டேஜ் 4.
டிஸ்டன்ட் மெட்டாஸ்டசிஸ்னா 4. ஓகே. So follow up CT and abdominal also, the CT chest, CT abdomen also done annually. Colonoscopy, if there is nothing na, post colonoscopy is nothing na, we have to do every 3 years. If in the adenomas anything is present na, we have to follow every year after whether it is regressing or not and all. That is it. Post operative treatment, stage 1 inverts muscularis propria, negative lymph nodes, and follow up is the appropriate choice. Stage 2, this and all, T3 T4 pericolic fat and any without any risk factors, so we go for a, from T3 we are planning for a adjuvant chemotherapy, T3 and all. So here வேற ஏதாவது இருக்கா? இதெல்லாம் எனக்கு
அந்த ரிலேட்டிவ் இண்டிகேஷன் தான் சார் கேட்பீங்க. ஸ்டேஜ் 2ல யாருக்கு கீமோதெரபி கொடுக்கணும்னா poorly differentiated cancer, vascular perineal invasion, அப்புறம் காம்ப்ளிகேஷனோட வந்தானா obstruction perforation, அப்புறம் வந்து நம்ம pathological-ஆ பாக்கும்போது அது T4க்கு போயிடுது, அப்புறம் inadequate nodes less than 12.
See, any stage 2, very important this one. Stage 2 patients, indications for chemotherapy, any poorly differentiated cancers, any vascular perineal invasion, obstruction, perforation, adjacent lymph node, adjacent organ invasion, and less than number of 12 nodes are harvested. In this patient, it is definitively we have to go for a adjuvant chemotherapy. So that is it. So MSI has to be done for a stage 2. All patient has to be go for a MSI for stage 2 disease. In typical Lynch syndrome, so nothing is there. See, MSI has to be done. We have to look for either MSI high or low. MSI high has got a very favorable prognosis. In the two in stage 2, 3, and 4 and all, and that's all.
Stage 3, stage 2 more common than stage 3.
Okay. Stage 2 is more common.
MSIH is more frequent in stage 2 disease than stage
3. Okay.
And does appear to have favorable prognostic significance in stage 2.
Okay. Then next stage 3 disease. Stage 3 disease, any positive lymph node patient, stage 3 disease, adjuvant chemotherapy is indicated in stage 3. The two FOLFOX are this one. What they are telling now, Capox is used instead of FOLFA. It's okay.
Actually, FOLFOX protocol use பண்றாங்க. அதுல வந்து அதுக்கு அப்புறம் வந்து இந்த Capox or Zelox regimen ஒன்னு இருக்கு. அதுல என்ன 5-fluorouracilக்கு பதிலா oral capecitabine கொண்டு வந்தது தான் இந்த Zelox regimen. Zelox or Capox regimen அவ்வளவுதான்.
Okay. What is the next?
Next full-ஆ கதை அடிச்சு தள்ளிருப்பாங்க சார் அந்த பக்கம்.
Here this is very important. Low risk patients. What we have to remember means Capox we can give 3 months alone, but other things and all, FOLFOX and all, we have to give 6 months. Regime is better. That's all. Metastatic disease and all, tumor burden, goal of treatment, chronicity, induction of resection, depends upon the nothing is there. All these patients and all should be assessed for RAS and BRAF mutation. Any metastatic patients and all, anti-EGFR patients and all. So any BRAF wild type BRAF patients, you have to give panitumumab and cetuximab. So right-sided colonic lesions and all, we give bevacizumab. BRAF mutant metastatic diseases. Left-sided colonic lesions and all, cetuximab. That one only they're telling you. In addition to FOLFOX and FOLFIRI, that is thing. So patient who has good performance status and good thing that we can give for FOLFOXIRI triplet regime. But as I got high toxicity, then doublet regime. So right sided tumor, we have to remember bevacizumab. So B comes before C. On left sided tumors, we have to give cetuximab. So in older unfit patients unable to tolerate doublet capecitabine with bevacizumab is appropriate. So older patients also capecitabine with bevacizumab can be given. So in addition, bevacizumab needs to be stopped at 6 weeks before hepatic resection. So that only any patients having metastatic colorectal disease, we can go for a metastatectomy. In these patients, we have to give the limited of drugs and we have to stop drugs before 6 weeks of hepatic resection. Okay. So anything that again we have to study once. So what is that indication? KRAS that colon only we have. Wild type KRAS, what is the drug?
That's anti-VEGF.
Panitumab,
cetuximab, அதான் wild type RAS, BRAF ரெண்டுலயுமே கொடுக்கணும்.
Wild type RAS. Okay, that is
this is BRAF mutated வந்து BRAF mutedனா wild type இருக்காது அது. அதுல வந்து FOLFOXIRI தான் கொடுக்கணும். அப்புறம் bevacizumab ஆட் பண்ணனும்.
ஓகே.
அதான் ரெண்டாவது பாயிண்ட் சொல்றேன். மூணாவது பாயிண்ட் வந்து ரைட் சைடட் கோலான் கேன்சர்ல ட்ரெடிஷனலா யூஸ் பண்ற கீமோ, நம்ம ஜெலாக்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்றீங்களோ இல்ல ஃபால்ஃபாக்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்றீங்களோ வந்து இதை ஆட் பண்ணுங்கறான். ஆன்டி EGFR ஆட் பண்ணுங்கறான்.
அடிஷனலி
EGFR bevacizumab இல்ல சார், ஆன்டி EGFRனா வந்து இத சொல்றேன், panitumab cetuximab ஆட் பண்ணுங்கறான்.
Okay. Okay. Vascular endothelial growth factor should be added, but
sorry தப்பா சொல்லிட்டேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். Third point மட்டும் சொல்லுங்க.
Third point is the right side tumor, you have to add bevacizumab along with the FOLFOX. That's all. வேற எதுவும் வேண்டாம். Why confused? On the left side tumor, you add cetuximab. அவ்வளவுதான்.
Okay.
So okay, this கொஞ்சம் அதுதான். Think that's all. Okay, we will end it. Anything we have to discuss? Hemant
சார் ஒரு நிமிஷம், அவன் கொஞ்சம் பிஸியா ஏதாவது காலுக்கு போயிட்டான்.
ஓகே.
அந்த இது சொல்லிட்டீங்களா? அது ஸ்டேட்டோஹெப்படைட்டிஸ் வித் irinotecan, sinusoidal damage with oxaliplatin.
Okay, that I think everyone knows. Okay.
எல்லாம் மறந்தே போச்சு சார், சொல்லுங்க சார்.
அப்படியா? ஓகே. அது யூசுவலி திஸ் ஒன் cash called as chemotherapy associated steatohepatitis.
அது வந்து irinotecan வரும், sinusoidal damage
irinotecan oxaliplatin steatohepatitis. This is
அந்த கடைசி 4 லைன் தான் எடுத்து இம்பார்ட்டன்ட்.
ஓகே so
ஓகே தான் சார்.
ஓகே எண்ட்
தெரிஞ்சு இந்த இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஏரியான்னு பார்த்தோம்னா இந்த போஸ்ட் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் ஃபாலோ அப் ஃபுல்லா பயங்கரமா கொடுத்திருக்கான், நல்லா கொடுத்திருக்கான். இதுல
there is on box.
அப்புறம் இந்த TATME படம் டயகிராம் கேட்க போறாங்க இந்த வாட்டி. சொல்றத நானே எதிர்பார்த்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கேன். அந்த TATME டயகிராம் ஒன்னு இருக்குல்ல 111385ல, அதை எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணலாம் அந்த क्वेश्चन. அப்புறம் அந்த மைல்ஸ் ப்ரொசீஜரை எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணலாம். அந்த டயகிராம்லாம் டிபிக்கலா இருக்கு. அது பிரேம் ஒரு நாள் ஏதோ சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தான்ல, எப்படி டிஃபரன்ஷியேட் பண்றது, பர்ஸ்ட்ரிங் சுவிட்சர் போட்டிருந்தா இது
சிம்பிள். ஒண்ணே ஒன்னு சொல்றா, there is a lone star retractor. This retractor is there 52.78.
அதுதான் அந்த படம் தான்.
This if you find this retractor means it is TATM. அப்புறமே வந்து பின்னாடி think this another scopes, multiple scopes will be passing through the gel. அதுதான் this is most that you have remember.
ஓகே. அப்புறம் சும்மா படம் போட்டு கேட்கலாம். டைரக்டா படத்தை கொடுத்துட்டு என்ன ப்ரொசீஜர், ஸ்பிங்டர் ஸ்பேரிங் ப்ரொசீஜரா, ஸ்பிங்டர் சேவிங் ப்ரொசீஜரா, அது என்னது கேட்பாங்க. எது கரெக்ட் பிளேன் ஆஃப் டிசெக்ஷன் அவ்வளோ ஓகே தான் சார்.
The only thing I will tell on MRI in colorectal. Okay, that is very important.
சொல்லுங்க சார்.
So MRI, okay, what's the MRI for rectum? No need of IV contrast mostly. So actually, they are given as a what contrast you give na, you inject ultrasound gel and gadolinium contrast, but no need of IV contrast. Okay, that is important.
Okay.
Fat saturation on T2 imaging are avoided. Why this prevents accurate assessment of tumor in relation to mesorectal fissure. So we are already looking for fat. So fat saturations should be avoided and avoid endorectal coils. Okay. And enema preparation should be avoided, not required for this one.
Okay.
Buscopan or glucagon can be administered for this one.
Okay, Buscopan or
glucagon. That can be administered for this one.
Okay. The best investigation is sir surface coil MRI, endopelvic MRI அப்படிலாம் கேக்குறாங்க.
The surface coil MRI is best. Avoid endorectal coils.
Okay.
CRM, CRM margin is important. CRM is positive if less than 1 mm is CRM positive. It is important. Okay.
Less than circumference, less than 1 millimeter.
Less than 1 mm is there, it is positive CRM. Threatened CRM.
அது வந்து நீங்க சொல்றது வந்து pathological சொல்றீங்களா? கிளினிக்கலா கொடுக்கிறது வந்து 1 சென்டிமீட்டர் வரைக்கும் ஸ்பேர் பண்ணலாம்ல?
that should be 1 centimeter.
Pathological நியோஅட்ஜுவன்ட் கொடுத்தோம்னா 1 சென்டிமீட்டர் இல்லனா 2 சென்டிமீட்டர் கொடுப்போம். அப்படிதானே?
நியோஅட்ஜுவன்ட் கொடுத்தோம்னா actually what they are telling na anything can be greater than 1 centimeter is enough pathologically. But what we give na 1 centimeter we give. அதுதான் lot of studies more than 5 mm is we used to keep 5 mm to 10 mm. அதுதான் ideal surgery during surgery. Okay. But pathologically it should be greater than 2 mm or அதுதான் சொல்றாங்க 1 mm also okay, but greater than 2 mm is very good, adequate.
Okay.
So any lower rectal tumors violation of the intersphincteric plane is called as positive CRM.
Violation of the intersphincteric. Okay.
There are they telling there are some diffusion weighted images and all that is benefit in assessing residual tumor following therapy. That and all is helpful.
Okay, sir.
Okay. But what is the drawback means a lot of mucins will be secreted. So that's why a lot of other tumors which secrete mucins. So mucins also will give diffusion weighted imaging features. So that and all. அதனால வந்து mostly we are not doing it. MRTRG சொல்லுமா? So MRTRG you want to tell?
என்ன சார் அப்படினா?
சரி, MR tumor regression grade. MR we are detecting using MR for tumor how it is regressed or not. So first we are doing neoadjuvant therapy any patient. After that we are doing MRI and we assess for whether tumor is regressed or not. That is very important. Other tumor MRTRG. Treated tumor solely dark signal will give very dark signal that have MRTRG. That is normal. Okay. Any treated tumor with persistent intermediate tumor or a mixture of fibrotic and intermediate signals are there. That is if there is any tumor. அதெல்லாம் ஷெக்கல் போல இருக்கு. This is tumor regression rate.
இது நான் போட்டோ எடுத்து பாத்துக்கிறேன். இது சொன்னீங்கன்னா எழுதுறதுக்கு லேட் ஆகும். கிளாஸ் முடிஞ்சோனே நம்ம குரூப்ல போட்டு விட்டுறோம்.
Okay. சரி, okay. So that's all. I will close it.
Close it sir. இது ஒரு நிமிஷம். ஒரு 4-5 கேள்வி கேட்கவா?
கேளு, டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணுங்க.
சரிங்க, ஒரு நிமிஷம் கொடுங்க, டைம் கொடுங்க. ஈஸியான கேள்வி தான் கேட்கிறேன்.
அதுதான் தப்பாகும். That will only go for mistake, man. How many times you write exam? That 3 to 4 questions only put a nose on it.
எடுத்து வச்சிருந்தேன் இந்த கேள்வி கிடைக்கல சார். எங்க போச்சு? நான் கிளாஸ் இது பண்ணும்போதே டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணலாம்னு எடுத்து வச்சிருந்தேன் நானு. ஒரே நிமிஷம் டைம் கொடுங்க, இல்லைன்னா முடிச்சு விட்டுக்கலாம். சரி ஓகே சார். இல்ல பாத்துக்கலாம் அப்புறம்.
ஓகே,
தேங்க் யூ சார்.
think we the rules class.
Okay,
so apart from other thing 1 to 2 centimeter adam IMA ligation பண்றது, IMA ligate பண்றது 1 to 2 centimeter apart we have to ligate. That is important that we discussed.
Close to the origin ligation பண்ணல, flush ligation பண்ணோம்.
இல்ல see what is the problem na, if you do flush ligation means you have a lot damaging the nerves, superior hypogastric plexus. So that's why you have to tie IMA after 1 to 2 centimeter distal to its origin. Okay, that is important.
Okay.
Damage the superior hypogastric means you will damage, you will go for bladder incontinence, ejaculatory dysfunction and all. That is the thing. Okay sir. Okay sorry.
Okay sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will end.
Okay sir.